Welcome back to another episode of the Mecca of Banter. I want to eat my words from last week. I was talking shit on United, and now
the turntables.
Chelsea is below everyone else. So I will eat my words and apologize.
They are below.
They are below every squad here.
A few teams at this table.
But
as you can see by the big plaque in the back, Saints are here to stay at the top.
Jesus.
Love it. Sorry, Hiffy, go on.
All good, all good. Okay, so by now I think everyone knows the drill. We're going to start this podcast off with a message from the Mecca of Banter, our group message that I've described in previous podcasts. We have a group message with 20 guys. We all talk soccer, and we called it the Mecca of Banter. This week is from Joey Beeg, fellow Chelsea supporter, shout out. And his topic was, where do we think Gareth Bale fits at Tottenham Hotspurs? Do we think he fits? Will he ever see the field? What are your guys' takes?
Who's going first? Butchie? You look like you want it. Butch looks primed to the seat. He wants it.
Role player.
Okay.
Role player.
Spot on.
What's the role?
Spot on.
The role is
Bench.
the role is when they need him, they're going to call on him. You got a team that's firing with Sonny and Kane. We all know how special they've been, right? Probably the best duo we've seen in years in the Prem. 100%.
I could agree.
Best duo we've seen in years. I love Bergwijn. I know Shawnee loves Bergwijn.
I do.
Quality. He's got to play. Okay.
5-star skill, works his ass off.
Fantastic player. Hoiberg's been balling.
I like him a lot.
I think he's their biggest pickup in this offseason, in my opinion.
I love him.
He's played every
I
minute.
love that. I love the way
Every
he plays.
minute.
Yeah, but then you also got Musa Sissoko, and he's a guy who's like, he's one of those under the radar players, man. I mean, he just runs and runs and runs, but he does.
He's an engine.
He's an engine.
He plays a lot for France.
He does. 64 caps.
Yeah.
They brought that up in his last game. 64 caps for France. So that brings me to my point. Like, you got a guy like Bale, been a superstar. I think he's past it. I think he's a role player. I think you bring him on when you need to bring him
next. But are you finished, sorry?
Yeah.
Okay. Where do you think that role player role leaves Bale, as in, do you think he's still smiling? Do you think he's giving you the Gareth Bale that's going to be needed to be the 88th minute winning Premier League games at will, cutting in against his left on 3 dudes like we've seen in the past?
They built him a golf course. That dude's going to be happy no matter what.
That's the thing. For me, Spurs are a team of role players. They're Jose Mourinho. They have skill.
Aside from Kane and Son,
we talked about that
else.
Kane and Son are having an immaculate season, and that's incredible. And they're 2 very good players. And Bergwijn is like his own skillful player too. And they have skillful players all over, but in reality, they're succeeding because they're playing in a system that they all accept and willfully do their exact role for. Mm-hmm. I think if Bale sees that him being a role player, he can't be the role player at his home club and come back, because Jose is kind of known to have his plan and stick with it. And I don't necessarily think Bale was in Jose's plans. Bergwijn was in Jose's plans. And Bergwijn is...
He wanted to get rid of Bergwijn.
He wanted to get rid of...
He wanted to get rid of Bergwijn.
Dang, I didn't know that.
That's why Bergwijn, you saw him, that's why Bergwijn last year, he didn't get as many appearances, much like when, what's his name, your boy?
Ndombele.
Much like Ndombele, they both had a falling out in training, and that's why when this season started,
talked about,
and Bergwijn was in the lineup, I was so surprised that he was such a consistent.
But that's what he does, though. He does he doesn't change the sheet ever. So like when it's his 11, like that's what it's going to be until they lose or until he starts falling, and then he'll pick a scapegoat, and that guy will be done until Jose's gone, like Dele Alli is right now. But like I don't know. I can't see Bale replacing Bergwijn now that he's put his faith in him. And the system's rewarding him as it is.
I believe Bergwijn was poached.
Might have been.
I think he was poached.
No, Mourinho was there. He got signed in January.
Did he?
Yeah.
Because
when did Poach leave? Look that up.
Poach,
it was
November.
Yeah, it was November, and I believe they were in 14th when he left. When you look at Gareth Bale, it's like we talked about this earlier, but you look at the role that Bergwijn plays. It's like he's very good going forward, but Sean said it perfectly earlier. He works up and back, and it's tough. Like when you're asking a Gareth Bale to step into a Jose Mourinho side, that right now it's like if it ain't broke, in my opinion, why try to fix
mess
it?
with it? Yeah.
Like it's one of those things. Kane has played 20 games this year. He's got 14 goals, 7 assists. Same thing with Harry Kane. He's got 20 games, 15 goals and 13 assists.
Jesus.
Clearly something's working with Bergwijn being in that system.
Bale has every reason in the world to be happy. Back at Tottenham, and
Absolutely.
But I just get this feeling in my gut, and maybe it's the way he looks on the field, that he doesn't have that electricity in the way he glides with the ball right now. He doesn't look like he has that superstar X factor. Maybe it'll come back in time when he gets his wings under him, gets his breath. But I don't think he'll ever accept that come in the 70th minute role, because a lot of times for Jose, it's not even that. It's coming in the 85th minute, and like I just don't. As happy as everything else is around him, I just feel like it's going to be a giant cliche. I don't think he'll be able to. I don't think he'll be able to stay happy.
It's never going to be another
it's never,
a return of.
Absolutely not.
Because he wants to be Tottenham, and right now it's not his.
Harry Kane's Tottenham. Sonny's Tottenham.
Well, I was about.
And then it's Mourinho.
Yeah.
And
true.
like I just don't know how you.
The point.
I want him to be
add,
happy, Gareth. I love you.
The point that I want to add is you mentioned role player, but the guy hasn't seen the field. I just looked. I have a stat right in front of me.
Europa League.
He's played. There's been 11 Premier League games that he's been a part of Tottenham, and he's played 115 minutes.
Yeah.
And he hasn't seen the field in the last 6. No minutes.
And he's still smiling ear to ear right now.
Right
now he is.
I'm interested.
How much do we give him that? Like you do most players, when you come over to England, it takes a year to adapt. But Bale's been there, and he's done it. So it's not like coming over, he doesn't expect what the Premier League's going to be like. So how much leeway do we give him? Oh, you're coming back to England.
Well, not only
can you repeat it?
Not only is he coming back, he's coming back from not playing at Real Madrid. He wasn't playing at Real Madrid towards the end. Then he moves to Tottenham, and now he's not playing again.
It was one of those where I was so hyped. I think we all were. We were blowing up in the Mecca when Bale was getting ready to come on the field and play for Tottenham again. And
the
from there,
buzz in your stomach. And
it's that
just
feeling.
Disappeared.
It's that feeling that, like, if you love football, you love to see. It's like a Cristiano Ronaldo coming back to United type of moment. But that's the highest I've been on Gareth Bale since he's been at Tottenham. Is seeing him come back in. That was it.
Underwhelming.
Yeah,
and I think
so underwhelming.
I'm trying to remember which game it was, but it was before the game. It was a Jose Mourinho interview, and they were asking him if Bale would see the field and if he was fit. And Mourinho's, I'm not going to word for word what he said, but pretty much what he was saying was Bale still has to fight for his minutes.
As he should.
The way the media was portraying the question was like, when is he going to get in? He's probably fit now, so when are we going to see Gareth Bale? And Mourinho's response was, just because he's fit doesn't mean he's going to play on my team. And right then and there was when I realized, like, dang, like, I don't think Gareth Bale's going to get as many minutes as people think. I don't think he's going to come in and change this Tottenham team like everyone thinks he is. But at the same time, they are playing incredible football right now.
Yeah, no, they're not. I mean, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, I've watched them play in the Prem.
They
don't play incredible football
it's
at
not
all.
beautiful
You're
football.
right. It's not beautiful, but they're getting
Jogo
results.
Bonito.
They're getting results is what I want to reword that.
It's impressive, especially in this tumultuous Prem that we have right now. It's as shaky as it is, and they're solid.
Any way you can get 3 points right now, I think is the way to do it. The league is so tight.
You know me.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna let it. I'm not gonna let you call it.
I appreciate you calling me out, and I'll like I said, I'll rescind that and say they're getting results
every week.
They are getting results. They are firing on all cylinders. They're hot, and that's without Gareth Bale.
Let me segue this into. I asked Hoover this question earlier this week.
Cheers.
Cheers to Hoov. What is a bust for Tottenham this season, in your guys' opinion? Like, is it?
Fred Hoover's been a Tottenham Hotspur supporter for a fairly long time, and he does know what he's talking about. So he gave us a very well thought out answer. You want to give us a little summary?
I was gonna say I think my opinion is exactly how Hoover.
The thing about Hoover is I love the fact that I just asked him this question off a whim, and he gave me like a legitimate. Like his thoughts. So here's what our boy Hoove had to say. I asked him, is Spurs title or bust this season? And he said, Spurs aren't really a title or bust team, especially not under a manager who is in his first full year in charge. That's a tough ask for anyone, even as the chosen one. At the start of the season, I would have said a top 4 finish and a decent campaign through Europa and FA Cup. With the start they have had, I really do feel it's silverware or bust now. And for the first time in a long time, there's a manager in place that feels the exact same way. Definitely not something Spurs fans are used to. Jose has made some unbelievable depth-oriented signings that pose Spurs for a trophy in at least one campaign this year. At this point, dropping out of the top 4 would be an absolute bottle job. I think that's spot on.
Agreed.
The team is too strong to let that happen, and they have really appeared to buy into the system Jose is known for. Jose wants to win the Champions League. You could give a fuck about the Europa League, so you damn well better believe he is going to lock his place in for next year one way or the other. I think next year, with a little more time and maybe a signing or two, could be a really special season. Spurs fans want to flood the N17 for a fucking parade, and Jose wants to give it to them. Thoughts, lads?
Look up the signings that Jose's brought in.
I will.
But all in all, yes, I think what he said was pretty spot on.
Pretty spot on.
As far as the expectations go, in response to your question, he threw some passion in there, but I think the silverware bust is a nice twist on saying, is it title or bust?
I think
that's the cheekiest move ever. Is it title or bust? They better win something.
Hoove in the back of his mind, like his entire focus is like, I want to win the damn fucking Premier League.
Oh yeah, but
he can't say that because it's like it's that Spurs fan mentality.
Yeah.
It's like
it's the Blues.
I completely agree with him though. I think for Tottenham this year, it's silverware or bust. I think whether it's the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, I mean, they're one of, if not the strongest team in the Europa League, to where they have the players and the depth to where I think they can get it done. And in my opinion, a manager to get them there.
I agree that it's silverware or bust. The only thing I'm kind of interested in, and my little hot take that I have, is I don't know if they're going to finish top 4. I think we talked about this before. I think the league is so up in the air that I don't even know if I could pick a top 4 right now. I think every week any team could beat any team right now. I don't think there's any team that stands out that is going to run away with this league. I mean, the only one that I think, and I hate to say this, the only team that I think maybe has a chance is Liverpool.
No,
and
Liverpool's
that
my
hurts my
mainstay.
heart
They're my
to
mainstay.
say. But
Not with his
I
defense.
can't.
They're good, but they're
I
not a
agree with that, but
mainstay.
they're still getting
They're
results
in the first
with
place
that team.
with no one.
I'm aware.
Exactly.
But until they get those guys back, I'm not saying.
But
they're
also-
a lock.
Thiago back in what? Thiago, do you see Klopp's?
It's the
Klopp's
defense.
quote?
That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
He's like,
but
we
also
should
you have
sign
to-
Thiago in
you
January.
You say it's the defense. It's Virgil van Dijk. They're starting.
He's not coming back.
I know, but what I'm saying is they still have Trent. They still have Robertson. Allison's back.
Yeah, you didn't name a center back.
Fabinho, I think, has been doing a decent
No, he's a good
job
player.
at
He's a
center
good
back.
player.
You know,
He's a good player.
Hendo did a shift there. Hendo's not a permanent fix for center back, but he did a shift at center back.
For me,
there.
I think the most
Butch is
consistent.
loving this
I
right
think
now.
I think the most consistent team has to be Spurs.
Oh, I,
As far as I know what they're going to give you, even though I think if they get scored on first, they're going to lose the game. I say that every week, and they keep not getting scored on first.
as Jose said it, the
With
better team
Dyer.
lost.
Yeah, I mean,
As Jose said,
the better team lost.
How does that make you feel, Butchie?
That's a crock of shit. When I saw that quote, it blew my mind. Like, how can you
How
say
does that blow your mind?
it blew my mind?
It's Jose
Well, it's Jose, but
Mourinho.
it blew my mind just in the fact that like this guy's just borderline insane. Like,
Getting his rocks off knowing he blew your mind.
unbelievable. I mean, as you said, we didn't have anybody in our back line besides our wing backs, and we win the game.
Yeah.
We dominate the game. How
yeah.
can you say the better team lost?
No, he's just being.
I mean, obviously, he's a master. The guy's a master of putting the spotlight on himself so that it doesn't have to be on his players. He's a
That's so
genius
dumb.
when it comes to that. He doesn't want any players to get singled out, so he just takes the blame himself.
What does that even mean, though?
He just doesn't want. I guess he doesn't want any controversy, anything affecting his locker room.
The headline,
Besides himself.
The headline will always
Put it
be
up- yeah.
his quote. It won't be a player.
No,
The headline will be something Jose said in the press conference.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter on the field.
It does. But yes, it matters to players' mindsets.
I think that matters to
100%
people
psychological.
like talking about the game.
I mean,
He does different things that help. Trust me. I'm not saying that he doesn't help players psychologically win. I think he 100% does. I think that specifically is just him being an ego. That's it.
Well, he has an ego, 100%.
I mean, that's an opinion thing. I mean, top coaches in the world have said he's a master at getting the pressure off his team.
Getting the pressure for team. But I don't think like saying like those like hot flash moments that write the headlines. I don't think that's like, okay, like if his team, if they'd gotten railed by Liverpool and played like shit, I don't think that would be like, okay, well, they played good, but look what he said. Like they'd be like, oh yeah, the team looked like shit. Like this player played bad, this player played bad. Like it was a close game. He said a hot thing.
Remember when they lost remember who did they lose to? They played like shit in the Europa League, and he literally said that in his press conference.
Yeah,
he said this game was shit. So it's like he does both, but I don't know.
I don't think that should be talked about around him. I think that was just him being stupid. Sorry. We're already talking about it.
All right, Jose signings. I have the list. For Tottenham Hotspurs, he has Lo Celso,
Beast.
Quality player.
Bergwijn, Reguilon, Doherty, Højbjerg. I'm butchering
Doherty's
these
low-key a
names.
good signing in my
Great
opinion.
signing.
Bale, Joe Hart, Vinicius,
He didn't even sign Bale.
Walker Peters, Danny Rose.
No. You're this is a wrong list.
Yeah,
He
you're
sold
too far
them.
back.
Those
That's in and out.
Yeah.
After
Sorry.
Vinicius is correct. Yeah.
I mean, some of
Bergwijn
those
is his
names are
guy.
pretty big. Lo
Bergwijn
Celso,
Bergwijn is his guy.
I think-
Bergwijn signed him.
Yeah, he signed Bergwijn. Bergwijn
Yeah.
is his guy. Because he's the perfect fit. He's a hard-working, dynamic winger who's willing to put in a shift and stick you.
So is Gio.
Let me ask
Gio's a
you. Let me
great
ask
fit.
you about that Tottenham team. Who's the most important player?
Right now?
Harry Kane.
Not right now. Who's the most valuable player for that team?
Harry Kane.
If they lose Harry Kane or Son, I don't think their strategy will win.
Agreed.
I think if you pick one or two other players that have to come out of that team, except maybe both center backs at the same time, you wouldn't notice. As long as Harry Kane and Son would score 2 or 3, like a goal or 2 or 3, and then they could sit back and defend and play their way. But if they lose one of them and they lose that threat, then
Agreed.
I think they're in trouble. Because then I think you sit behind the box and teams are more willing to commit, and they'll not. I don't know. You won't be as dangerous.
And honestly, I think
Unless Bale comes in and completely destroys that theory, which please do.
And honestly, I think that's one of the biggest reasons I had them. My hot take was they're not finishing in top 4 because if Son or Harry Kane get injured, what is Tottenham Hotspurs? Yeah, of course, I never want a player to ever get injured.
That's a good point, though, because the teams that win the Premier League, look at Liverpool last year. It's depth.
Their depth.
It's
I mean,
depth.
and it's
Spurs.
and it's funny. That's what I was just about to say. It's weird
But just
because
those
the
two
Spurs
guys
do
are
have
different.
depth. It's just
Those two guys are just different.
Exactly.
It's the production from that.
That's
that
what's
is-
putting them at the top.
Allows that consistency. It has to be
Yep.
both.
I agree.
I'm interested.
That's
I don't
a good
know.
question. Who do you think's the most important player?
Harry Kane. I think the way that he does it, but because it's not like he's just banging in goals. Like I read it. I mean, he is banging in goals, but he has
The
13
tackles too. I thought that's what you were gonna say.
no. It's the 13 assists
no, I
in my
know.
opinion. It's
Unreal,
like
unreal.
I genuinely didn't know Harry Kane had that in him. Like when
Unreal.
you watch him for England, you watch him for Spurs. I didn't know he could pick a pass like that.
Yeah.
And he's picking
growing.
He's picking Sonny out. I think his game is developing more, and so like I think if you take Kane out of that
Just hitting
role,
stride,
I think
the
Son
age.
is definitely not as successful because it's almost as Kane receives that ball and you could already see Sonny make that run.
Yeah.
That darting running behind, like expecting Kane to find him.
They're doing that thing where when you play, like one guy plays it, and then as soon as they play it to like they see that as they're about to play one pass, everyone just starts running.
Yeah.
Because they're like, if
Wild.
once that ball gets to him, he's gonna play me in.
He could pick a pass
Yeah.
too, man.
I love it.
I don't know. I kind of want to get into your guys' takes too, though, on the most important player for your guys' clubs.
Harry, before we do, that's a dope topic. Harry Kane. I gotta say it for Beeg. Is it dirty what he's doing?
Yes. 100%.
Is it dirty what he's doing?
100%.
Because I don't want to call Harry Kane a dirty player, but what he is doing is dirty. And his highlight tape, which he has, I don't know if you're aware
Pull
of.
up Mo Salah diving.
There's a
Pull up
high.
any striker
Is
in
he-
the entire world.
Is he hurting someone
So-
by diving?
So
can.
first off, for
No,
reference,
Dobes.
just so
A red
the
card,
listeners
somebody
know-
getting sent
hold
off?
Hold up. Just for the listeners, because this is a podcast and they don't know what we're
Does it hurt
talking
a
about.
player?
there's been multiple instances where Harry Kane, there's been a 50-50 ball in the air, and the opposing player has gone up for that head ball, and Harry Kane has undercutted that player and receiving the foul for his team and kind of giving an advantage.
The opposing player looks at the ball, and Harry Kane is seen to look away from the ball and make direct eye contact with the other player that player's silhouette, and then never find the ball again. So his point of interest is the defensive player.
Why are we centering out Harry Kane?
Because he
True.
did it
Because
again.
it's on video.
Because it
If
just
you
happened
watch
again last
any
week.
game in the world.
Because it happens every week with him, specifically as him.
Every game in the world, a number 9, a striker, a winger, a defender, when a guy's on my back and he's pressuring me, he shows me down, I fall.
I disagree.
No,
I wholeheartely
I agree
disagree
with
that
you.
it happens to the extent that Kane does.
I agree with you, but the
every
plays,
single time.
Videotapes.
the
dude.
plays are completely different. You're talking about
seen
him
Giroud-
receiving the ball and getting pushed. I'm talking about the guy going up for a head
When you're the
ball.
most
Giroud do
vulnerable
it.
off
I've
the
seen
ground.
Giroud do it.
Not as much as Harry Kane.
It does, but it's the fact. It's you guys are singling out Harry Kane because it was on videotape 3 times last week.
Yeah, okay.
If it wasn't on video,
3 times last week in one game.
we wouldn't be talking about it. If we weren't talking about it last year. We weren't talking about 2 years ago.
That's funny because Joey Beek sent me a video of it before he undercut him. Like, before it happened 3 times in 1 week.
But-
He has a reputation
But
for it.
now we're talking about it. I never heard about it. I've watched.
When
the
is it okay
Premier
to talk
League.
about something?
But this is what I'm saying is that
It happens so much. So
It's
we
on
at the end
video.
we talk about it.
It's on video.
It's
and
been on video for
it's
years.
posted by a big social media.
I just
account.
wanted to get it out there that I like Harry Kane, and I think the moral of this, like for me, I think the agenda of the media specifically with around the prim is that everyone needs to love Harry Kane, and I love Harry Kane, but he is putting people at risk more than I see other players put other players at risk, and I
Okay.
watch a lot of soccer.
Let's leave it at that.
I want to give just let me
Let's
give
go
an
back.
example. No, because he's right, but I want to give an example. 90th minute, Southampton's winning 2-1. You guys are pinned in. Corner kick, free kick, left and right. Danny Ings does the same exact thing. Are you mad at him?
If he does, I'm calling it dirty because I've been sitting
Yeah.
with my friends and I've watched my teammates do it. USA Soccer, St. Louis Blues, doesn't matter. When I see a dirty play done, I say,
Exactly.
I say,
I
damn,
will shake
that's
Danny
dirty.
Ings' hand and say, thanks for the dub.
Well, yeah.
But here's
he'll-
my counter. If Danny Ings does that one time in a situational thing, and if Kane does it 3 times throughout the game, and each time I watch the player literally do a backflip and land on his
Why are you
neck,
blaming Harry Kane? The
If-
ref's giving him a foul.
True.
I'm blaming.
The refs- the
Here, see,
refs-
Dobes, that's my problem with your take on this. At least is I'm blaming everyone involved. The refs, the other players that do it. I'm just talking about how recently we've seen Harry Kane do it, and he's been doing it for a long time.
And
So if you show me another player doing it, like Joey Beek's counter was Diego Costa, and I go,
But it's-
also a dirty player.
I don't think that Harry Kane is, like you guys are saying, it's intent to hurt somebody. Harry Kane is not. He doesn't want. He's not
His
going.
intent-
I don't think
You
that's
can't
the
get
case
one
at
without
all.
the
You
other.
think he's trying to hurt
You
somebody?
can't
No,
get
I
one
don't
without
think that
the
at
other.
all.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's going up to win.
Is the play that he's doing liable to hurt someone? Yes.
Let's just do
but
a little
I don't-
thought experiment. Can you do one?
Exactly.
Is what he's doing going to win him a play? Yes. Is he going to try and win the play? Yes. Is winning the play putting someone at risk? Yes.
Okay.
So is a
next
50-50
topic. Next topic.
tackle in
Next
the middle
topic.
of
I'm
the
down.
field.
I'm down for next topic.
Yeah. Okay, so kind of back to what Doze was just saying. I think that's a really good thing to talk about, who we think are the most important players on each of our teams. And I can start it off with Chelsea. And I think it's difficult for me because of a lot of signings recently, and I think there are a lot of key players for us. But I think the one that has the biggest impact so far has to be Mendy. I think he has solidified our back line and our defense and given us this sort of confidence with him in net to where we're not worried every time a shot on goal is going to go in. So I definitely think he's probably one of the most important. Another one that I think hasn't seen the field a lot, and Sean will love me for this, is Ziyech. I think when he's on the pitch for us, and I would love to look up his record when he is on the pitch for us, he just brings this aspect going forward that I don't think other players on our team do. So I think if I had to pick 2 most important, it would probably be those 2. And that's hard for me because I think there are a lot of very important players on this Chelsea squad, but I think I would have to pick those 2.
Can I give you mine for
Yeah,
Chelsea?
I would love that. I would love it.
Thiago Silva. In my opinion, he's the most valuable player to that team Because the leadership
Agreed.
presence that he brings and demands from that back four.
And I could Zuma.
My
Bagging goals?
thing I think that makes Chelsea that he brings is they have balance in the back four now.
Yeah.
They have Zuma, who's extremely athletic, and they have Thiago Silva, who can coach him through
Yes,
those tough.
exactly.
His
in his brain.
positioning.
His positioning,
and his ability to not go into tackles.
100%.
Oh,
his
man.
positioning
He's going to be
makes
elite now.
Zuma's positioning
Thank
better.
God, because it was his injury that derailed him. He was on this path.
Another
But that's
was.
in my opinion.
Another one that I want to bring up that I should have said is Reece James. I think, and I know. I'm sorry. And I don't think Butch is going to like this. I think Reece James is the best right back in the Prem.
Talked about this last time.
Yeah. I don't know if we brought that up, but I think Reece James is at a different level
We
right
talked about this multiple times,
Yeah.
so I had to make sure.
now. All right. We can move on.
No,
to
not on the
Chelsea.
podcast, but just
Yeah.
you and Butch had talked about the
Absolutely.
Trent versus Reese.
Yeah.
But I think it was Lee Dixon who was watching the it was a Chelsea game either 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. They were talking about the most impactful player. He brought up Mendy, and he said, as a defender, there's something about having a goalie when you're in. There's just some few moments that go by in the game, and you snap out of the rhythm that you're in of being completely focused and locked in. And there's a goalie like Mendy. You'll hear him in that same second you lose your focus, whether he's like it's at you or he's just yelling at someone else. He's just demanding that you are at all times focused and going, and you're at all points like you're never out of it. And that was what like that professional soccer player Lee Dixon is what he said. So that stuck with me because honestly, I think he also said like with Kepa, like it didn't look like he had it, but it was more like just everyone was just ready to go. Like, you know,
Yeah.
One of the craziest stats I've ever heard about Kepa was his last 18 shots that he had that were on him. 11 of them were goals, and I think that is crazy. And I think with Mendy back there, I think the confidence in our defense has risen, and I think that's why we've been getting a lot of shutouts recently. All right, what about United? I want to hear it.
I mean, I think
I want to hear it.
this is just
I
the
wanna hear
easiest
it.
answer in the world for who's our most important player. It's the best attacking midfielder in the Prem, Bruno Fernandes. And I don't know how it can't be. Bruno Fernandes, since he's joined Man United, first of all, let me tell you guys, by
Doves
points,
is prepared for this, by the way.
he has the best start to a Premier League campaign of any player in the history of the Premier League.
how many penalties
Doesn't matter.
matters to me?
He's got in 41 games, I said 41, 23 goals and 14 assists.
Dang, those are some numbers.
My thing about Bruno is the fact that he produces
7 penalties.
That's what I'm looking
I
at right
think
now.
it's more than that.
It's like 11.
Yeah, it's more than that. But the thing about Bruno is more than even the penalties, it's his mentality.
He always wants to go forward.
He
Great.
always wants to go forward,
They lost that.
but he brings everybody else around him. There was a time where, the media creates these narratives where it was like Bruno and Ole are fighting, and Bruno shut that down instantly. The next game he came out and had a goal and 2 assists. Like, it's one of those things where as Bruno goes, we go. He's built a relationship with Paul Pogba. And I truly believe that Bruno, if Bruno is not at United, I think Paul Pogba is gone by now.
Yeah, 100%.
I think
Interesting.
Paul Pogba is gone.
Which is a very interesting take because I think Paul's best position where he excels the most
Bruno's.
is where Bruno is playing.
But I
so
think United wouldn't have started winning. They needed Pogba
Exactly.
and
which
Bruno.
which
they needed
yeah,
them both.
which is why I
Pogba
was saying
didn't
it was
ha-
interesting.
Pogba didn't have that, like, you can tell that he trusts Bruno to
make the right play.
well, because Paul has had to give up some freedom. And I think
Absolutely.
that he trusts Bruno to make the right play. And it's one of those things where I think we really, really can be very successful with a Pogba and Bruno team. I think what we're missing, and it might be a Declan Rice, it's coming in January.
How can you say that?
We need a holding midfielder that's consistent.
Absolutely.
Beak is going to eat me alive.
Why?
Because
I'm going to bat for McTominay.
See, but
He's going to eat me alive.
I love Scotty. For me.
it's
Scotty,
you.
No,
So you.
Scott, give me a chance. Scott McTominay is box to box. Scott McTominay is not a number 6 that's going to sit there. He might be. You might think he is, but he's not.
The last 2 weeks, I've watched United more closely than I have any other time, and the way that he was dropping into the pocket between this doesn't make you a number 6 or a box to box, different. But the way he would drop in between the center back and the right back and pick up the ball,
it's part of the game plan. Yeah, it's part of the game plan. You notice how he didn't do it on the other side?
I do know how it's part of the game plan. Why wouldn't it be part of the game plan? Because he's literally picking teams apart at will. Like I didn't know he had it in him. The vision of his range, like the vision and range of pass from like any, I guess it's specifically that part was just insane. I felt like I was watching Barcelona the way that like everything was compact and like you would just tick the ball around center back, D, wing back, center back, wing back. McTominay finds it, split decisive pass, or if it wasn't, it was a pass to a center mid that wasn't crazy, but it was enough for that person to open up something else. Like everything that he did led to something good, and it was like 50. It was like 50 passes.
I mean, what you have to think about though is the fact that when you look at our center back, our current team, if you were to put Scotty in front of Lindelof and Harry Maguire, there's no pace.
Yeah, not much.
There's no balance.
But this number 6s aren't often fast.
That's fine, but I'm saying Scotty will be more successful in that role, in my opinion, because we'll be more compact defensively. You need a more athletic center back behind him.
Wouldn't hurt.
It's one or the other, in my opinion. Like I think you're right. Scotty could be that guy. He has every.
I didn't know he had that vision.
He has every attribute that you could use, but I just don't think we're gonna win a Premier League title with Scott McTominay in that role.
That's what you're going for.
So I think that, like in my opinion, I think we need a true number 6, a player like a Thiago,
Conte.
Conte is the perfect example of Conte
the athletic one.
With Conte Zuma, like he fits that, and I think that's what United need more because right now everybody else in that position, it's a Fred, box to box. Matic just doesn't do it. Matic has been quality, but he doesn't do the role well enough.
He's a great player too.
Side note: Bruno Fernandes has 7 PKs.
7. Okay,
Yeah, but also on here it says he only has
I think that's Prem,
15 goals.
That's Prem only.
Prem.
Okay.
7 of his 15 goals are
Pens.
I didn't know it was that high.
And 11 assists.
That's either way. Even if it's
Let me remind you guys.
Even
Kevin
if it's
De Bruyne
8
has 2 goals from run of play this year.
Yeah, no, he's not having the year. That's not up for debate.
All right. I say we move on to Butchie's side. Butchie, who is the most important person on Liverpool right now?
Are we talking players that are hurt?
No, right now.
You
Who's
know,
the most
say his
important?
name.
In the
you already know,
squad
bro.
right now, who's the most important person?
So I can't say anybody that's out.
Yeah.
Say his name.
Do it.
I know who you're gonna say.
Jordan Henderson.
Oh, it's on my list, bro. Jordan Henderson.
Oh,
Jordy freaking Henderson, baby. Here's my take. My first choice would have been Virgil, obviously, but he's done for the year, right? We're not going to have him for the entire season, all competitions. Jordan Henderson, I feel like people have given him too much hate and have not been able to realize, like, when we don't have him in the team, we're not the same team in certain aspects. Like, have you guys ever seen the video where obviously without fans, you can hear a lot?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the video of the game that they recorded where he's barking?
Him yelling.
And everything is so positive. And you can see the players feed off of it.
Read that.
yeah. And I think
like he brings something that, well, first of all, we might disagree. I actually think he's got a lot of quality in terms of some of his game. Like his passing range is very good. He's got a great engine. But the leadership, you talked about Thiago
I think
Silva.
his passing range is inconsistent.
Read that on the pod. Read what I wrote.
You talked about his ability to lead. Exactly. You talked about Thiago Silva. Obviously, Thiago Silva is one of the best ever in his position, no doubt. But his leadership,
The intangibles.
He
just makes Chelsea he takes him to another level.
He's Klopp's brain on the field.
Yeah,
it's
He is.
unbelievable.
He's an assistant coach playing the game in the middle of the park where it's the most chaotic, and he's leading everybody perfectly.
I also think it shows a lot that he literally is playing center back right now.
And
And they're still getting results. And I will be the first to say I've always not been a huge Hendo fan, and I think a lot of it has to deal with we don't see what goes on in the locker room. We don't see what he's doing outside of the game, so we're just specifically seeing him on the field. And if you look at his stats, I mean, they're nothing crazy, but I've started to see what you were just saying of when he's not on that side, it's almost like they don't have an identity, like they don't know what to do, and they're kind of looking around at other people like, are you going to step up? Am I going to step up? And I think Henderson does bring that aspect. So I would almost have to agree with you.
I hate stats.
Yeah.
I hate them.
They matter and they don't.
They matter, but I hate them because
for a role like his, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I hate them because
and it's funny you say that because I hate to switch gears off this, sorry, but that was how I felt about Pogba in the first couple of years at United. I think everyone was looking at his stats when I think he was doing fair games.
Fair.
Look who you're talking to.
I hate stats. I hate them.
Look who you're talking to. I'm the intangible.
I
don't appreciate it?
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
In any level of soccer, I hate stats, and it's, I don't know. This might be my coach coming out, but
so Hendo for you is the most valuable player.
Yeah, man. Like, sure, like he gets 3 goals, 3 assists every year.
Another person on
cares?
Liverpool right now that has impressed me is Jones.
He's quality.
I think he is quality.
He's a good young player. I like the direction he's heading, and I think he's playing under the perfect coach that's going to help him develop. Because Jurgen Klopp just oozes confidence in all of his players, man.
My thing that's crazy about Hendo is I think fully healthy, I think he's if behind Virgil, like to me, he's still like number 2 most important players in Liverpool's team.
Yeah.
Like I think that he's just, even with fully healthy, I think outside of Thiago, what he brings to that team is what United's missing.
Yeah, you forfeit his skill for sure.
Because it doesn't mean,
skill does not mean value.
It's the heart that he brings. It's the passion that he brings. It's the love for the club that is infectious to everybody on the field.
Alrighty, let's talk about third place Southampton Saints.
Oh, that feels nice to say.
Yeah, I was about to say,
sure.
Sean, how does that feel, boy?
He's a beast. And he would be the most important part because a lot of our action does get dealt off dead balls. So you got to say that off the bat that
Ward-Prowse.
I mean, you could
Beckham-esque.
If there's a metric out there, someone do it. He has to be the most accurate free kick taker.
He
arguably in Premier League
that was
history.
against United that he hit that one.
It's insane.
Me too.
It's not the goals. It's the whipped in balls with pace that always beat the first guy and dip in. And I'm like, every single time, I'm like, we might score on this free kick. This is dope. 45 out, you shouldn't have fouled him because we might score.
I think it's, and I
he's not the most important player, but go on.
Interesting. But what I was gonna say about Ward-Prowse is he's so good that if you're an opposing team, you have to game plan. That's when you know someone is that dangerous.
Oh yeah,
to where
don't
you
foul
have
outside
to
the box.
exactly.
Yeah.
You have to game plan to not foul someone anywhere near the goal, which is wild to me.
It's not Ward-Prowse. I want you to say it.
No, it's not him.
I want you to say
He
it.
just got back. I can't say him. He just got back.
I want you to say
Theo
it.
Walcott?
No, I think he's gonna say Danny Ings, but it's not. It's much love to Ingsy. He looked sharp when he came back from his injury, even though he wasn't didn't look the cleanest in front of goal. He had some nice shots that his release and everything and his control of the ball was really good. It looked good.
I know who you're gonna say.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
I don't think anyone does. But go on. You want to take one more shot at it?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Is this player? He's not hurt, right?
No, he's played every single game for the Saints.
My guess is between either Romeu or Armstrong.
Oh, I love both of them so much. His name is Jan Bednarak.
Oh,
He's our center back that we task with the responsibility of cleaning up after Vestergaard's mess.
Oh, which is crazy because I was about to say Vestergaard.
Everyone in the Prem, it shocks me. They love Southampton. They respect them. They don't watch them, clearly.
No, I do not. Unless they're playing Chelsea.
The amount of times Vestergaard has turned the ball over in our defensive end during casual possession is alarming. Out of every single we have, I think, I didn't do the stat check. I believe we've outpossessed our last 8 opponents -1. In those games, Yannick Vestergaard has the lowest passing average of all.
Oh no!
I said Yannick Vestergaard. That's not his first name.
I was about to say.
What is his first name? Is it Yannick?
I don't know.
I don't even care. I
Regardless.
just want him out. Vestergaard has the lowest pass accuracy combined out of all of our defensemen. And he has one game where it's like over 90, but he's a liability at the back. You're
right.
It's bad. It's bad. Like when you're in possession that much, and Dobes, you're a center back. When you're on easy possession,
Center backs easiest
center
position in the
backs
world.
can't turn the ball over. How many times can you turn the ball over in a game if you're a center back on possession team? If you're Man City and you got the ball and you're the last man back and you're the defender, how many times can you turn it over?
Never.
It should be a goal,
especially in the Prem.
He's doing it 5, 6, 7 times a game. You know who's saving us? Jan Bednarak. Jan Bednarak. And you know what else? He does not want to be the guy on the ball that's knocking possession, that's working with Prowse. He does not want to be the guy that's starting our attack. He doesn't. And he is that guy. His passing is improved more than anyone I've seen on the Saints. He's a G. Look at his passing stats. Jan Bednarak.
That is wild. I was just
that dude, he's rapid. Every time Vestergaard turns it over, and I'm like, oh, great, there's a free goal. Bednarak comes out of nowhere and stops him. But it's even more impressive to me. It's how well-rounded his game has become, and with the off, it's like the distribution into Ward-Prowse and their relationship. When him and Romeo are like trying to dip down and get the ball, like Bednarak knows how to work the lanes. Vestergaard scares the shit out of me every time he touches the ball. I don't care if you score goals for my team and you're a center back. That is not your job. I will find a center back that does not turn the ball over in my own half.
That's a very good point there.
I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked Hoove. What's a successful season for you guys? I mean, like currently you're in third. You're in good form. You just got Danny Ings back.
Walcott's looking like he can finally
So there's
finish.
before the season and there's now, because this season is the most unexpected season arguably in Prem history.
That's why that quote that we're not talking about Arsenal.
It's basically got to be
Arsenal
two parts.
could get relegated.
I'll give you the first part, just basically one line, which is before the season, Hasenhüttl was looking to be top of the table, or top half of the table. Like he was shooting from 8 to 12,
with realistic
hoping
goal.
to be 8 to 10,
Yeah.
off of like a shaky season. But like we instilled our faith in him. We didn't like implement a lot of our new signings. Like we were kind of just like, we're going to stay with this plan because we think it works. And Southampton as a club has a history of at least the last like decade and a half of making the right decisions. So like, even though like, yeah, they came up like everything that they sell,
Good
like
business.
Yeah, usually
It's good
they're
business.
doing, I think their profit margin is the best in the Prem in the last decade.
I would not. Yeah, that's spot on.
I would.
And
I would.
me and
100% agree with that.
like, so when we're making this plan and we're with Hasenhüttl and our system doesn't look like it always has. Last year we weren't like, we were trying to play our way, but it wasn't looking great. And a lot of that was, I think it was Højbjerg. Like, I don't think Højbjerg can be in a team that possesses the ball all the game. Like, I really don't. Like, I don't think he can
makes
be
sense
like
right
the,
now.
Yeah, with Tottenham.
like when he gets the ball, what is his job? Find your other center mid or a wing back.
Find Harry Kane.
Like,
Højbjerg is special at that 5-yard pass and say, "Here, go."
And he's always in the right spot. That's a fact. But like, as far as possession goes, we didn't have it. We didn't have our identity. I didn't like how we looked. Ings was scoring scrappy goals. He was literally keeping us up like by willpower alone last year. Like, and like that's great and all, but like this year, yeah, I would have said 8 to 12. Now, I think I talked about it last time. The most important thing I think in soccer, it rotates. It was Italy's 3 center backs. It was the 4-2-3-1 for a while. I think it's the 3 center mid triangle of people that can play defense and offense.
I think we talked about
And
this.
we have that. And now that I know that like other teams are literally going and buying players at will to try and form that identity, and we have a stellar one, I think we have to go to Europe or it's a bust.
Love that.
So would you be okay with Europa League spot?
guess.
I'm not. I'm just. I mean, it's just. I'm just. I
Yeah,
want to know.
I have to
'cause
be
it's-
okay. I have to be happy with
I mean,
it.
you're in a very rare position right now.
No,
Like,
you
I'm
have to
interested.
be, you
Yeah,
have to
like,
be happy with it. If we got to Europa League, but like I've told you,
I know your expectations.
My
You're like,
stance
it's in
on
your head, like,
my
what
stance
if?
on Hasenhüttl is still like kind of unchanged. I think the Prem being he's kind of
Say it.
he's kind of reaping the benefits of like Mo. Like the Prem is tumultuous. It's up in the air, and he's putting out an 11 and a stable midfield and saying, "Do your job,
Get a result."
win on set pieces, play the simple game." And the teams around them can't do it, and they're riding along. I don't think if this wasn't happening, I don't think our team would with Che Adams and Theo Walcott.
I think the
I don't think-
mentality that surrounds like you guys is like the work rate that they all put in for each other.
Yeah, the
is
say, I think
conviction
that-
to
I think
win
the
and the
squad
dedication. That's
chemistry
big
is-
this year. And our possession it's improved.
yeah.
It's improved, but it's not the Saints that I want to see. And I think a lot of Saints fans, you can't be unhappy. You know, you can't be unhappy right now. But I feel like we have to know that it could all be taken away because our team.
Enjoy it. Seriously, enjoy it, man.
And just to fact check Sean, he was correct. The last 8 games they have led in possession, except one, which they were tied with Manchester United with 50-50. Which is should
have been a draw.
It's like the thing about like you're saying, Southampton has like an identity. They can play. I feel like Sheffield United has 1 point. There's moments where Sheffield United can play. I think what separates teams is like he's saying, where you have that belief in each other that. It's kind of coming out in Southampton. I'm envious of Southampton right now. Like, consistently this year, they've looked way better than United has. And they're in 3rd place. So why not enjoy it? Why not, like, shoot for especially with the Prem this year, anything can happen.
I was just about to say,
you can't hold on to belief.
I think it's crazy.
I can hold on to Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's what I was about to say. I think it's wild that we're
Che Adams? No, I want Buffal. I want Buffal out there. I could squeeze Buffal's 5-star skill looking ass.
I think it's crazy that we're talking about that. That's why they're in the top of the table, is their chemistry and their belief. I mean, this Premier League season is wild, and it's crazy to think about that is what is separating them from other teams. And I think that's awesome. I think that's great.
I was talking through it and being like, damn, it sounds exactly like Mo. Spurs.
All right. Moving away from the Prem, I kind of wanted to bring this up, and especially with our man, Ryan Butchart, who is a Liverpool fan and a Barcelona fan. La Liga right now is in a weird state with neither. Let me double check.
Real's tied for the lead.
Okay. But just based on this year so far, do we think Real or Barca is going to win the league this year? Or could Atletico or Sociedad take it? And by the way, it goes Atletico, Sociedad, Madrid, Villarreal, Barca.
I definitely count that I watched La Liga like religious.
Of course. And that's why honestly that's why I wanted to bring it up to get your take on this, because I think it's a crazy time right now.
You know that 10 before you know much more than I do about this league. What the 10 points separate first from the stat that they keep talking about in the Prem? Is it like the 12 teams are separated by 10 points? La Liga's looks even scarier.
La Liga's
first through 5th is separated by 6 in the Liga.
Look at the but 10 points. It's bigger. It looks like bigger than the Prem.
11th place is 16 and top is 26.
Look at the bottom of the table. 11 points. 15 points separate first to 20.
Sheffield's at Fulham's at 6.
So we think the Prem's tumultuous. La Liga's going to shit.
Guys, it's crazy. This has been the crazy. I mean, when I'm watching these games, it's like I can't believe what I'm seeing, because La Liga's never been like this. It's been a 2-horse race separated by 15 points between 2nd and 3rd. My gut, I sincerely believe that one of those two teams, my gut's saying Atletico will win La Liga. My gut.
You don't think Sociedad keep it up?
Sociedad, I think, falls off.
Why are Atletico going to win?
Have you seen Atletico's stats? Mm-hmm. So on Sunday, they lost to Real Madrid. I watched the game. Real Madrid deservedly won. Deservedly won. Atletico did not play well by any means. Simeone got the game plan wrong. He made 3 changes at half. It was too late. Real had their dominance on the game, okay? But before that game, they had only let in 1 goal in La Liga.
Wow.
They were unbeaten in La Liga.
Wow.
And of all coaches in the world, he is one of the top defensive-minded coaches.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, probably.
He instills just pure defensive mindset in those players, okay? But I want to bring up one player who I just love.
Say it.
I just
Say
love
it.
I love this kid.
Say it.
Joao Felix. I love this kid.
Joao.
There was a I love this. I saw it on Twitter. There was a moment in the tunnel. Jan Oblak was talking with Koke, the captain of Atletico Madrid. and and obviously it was in Spanish, but they said, I'll translate it, but they said, "Oh my God, this kid's a jewel."
Wow.
And they're talking about him, and Felix is standing like 10 feet behind him because they're about to walk out. And Koke said, if only he could like basically pull his head out of his ass and do it consistent. But Oblak said, my God, the kid's a jewel.
Yeah.
He can play. When you've got the respect of two like all-time greats of the club, like when I watch
Atletico legends.
When I watch Joao Felix play,
Yeah, when I think Atletico, I think Koke. After
oh
seeing me
yeah,
over right now.
Koke. I've loved Koke since he was breaking in.
Or Cody.
You know, but Joao Felix. The reason why I bring him up is because I feel like if Simeone can keep him obviously healthy, but if Simeone can keep his confidence like this could be his breakout year. Where if they win La Liga, I'm serious. Like he could be a Player of the Year candidate.
Interesting.
100%. 110%. He's 21. I think he just turned
Wild.
21.
They talk about it. Why do I keep seeing rumors of him leaving?
Did you? So no, that's
You
that's
wanna
a,
stay the back end of this.
that's why I said if Simeone can keep his confidence because Dopes, you said you watched a little bit of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Simeone yanked Felix in 55th or 60th minute. I told you he got the tactics wrong. He made the changes. He yanked his best player off.
He was
This year.
He was scrambling to fix the game.
He yanked him, and Felix threw a fit. But I back Felix. And you guys know, like, I back that kid.
From a coach.
From a coach. I back him because you're in a game that could decide many things, okay? You're playing your arch nemesis, the Madrid Derby, your best player this year. You don't pull him off.
Gotta be mad somewhere else.
You don't pull them off when you're they were 1-0 down at this point. You don't pull them off. I'm pulling off freaking old ass can't run Luis Suarez. I'm pulling his ass off.
Interesting. I was about to bring that up. Has Suarez created this new impact on
No.
why they're at the top?
No.
Or you think it's
Sounds
all...
like the give up one goal over 9 games thing.
Well,
That
so
sounds like what it
fact
is to
check,
That's what it
it's
is.
4 goals.
4 goals.
Well, now it is because they
After
gave
the
up
3
two.
goals.
So
So
what
they
they
gave
were
up two before.
Still, that's nuts.
Oh, it's still nuts. 100%.
2 through what? 12 games?
Yeah,
11 games?
Next is 8 from Sociedad.
My question to you is, why do you think Sociedad can't win?
I don't think they can. They've never been in this position
They
before.
have
Neither
lost.
had Leicester
Let me
City.
tell you guys a stat.
I don't think they can do it.
Sociedad has lost 1 game since the beginning of October.
And that was to Barcelona yesterday.
It was to Barcelona this week.
And they've lost 2.
I'm
Total.
serious. I'm serious.
And
Sociedad
United
can do
drew
it.
Sociedad in the Europa League.
So then who do you think is the biggest competition for Atletico right now?
Real.
I got to say Real.
Real.
Here's the thing about
So-
Real Madrid.
So what's your state of Barca?
Shambles.
I have one
Wow.
Barca question for you, but go ahead.
The thing about Real Madrid, and my gut says Atletico, but you can never rule them out because they have the players in their team who have consistently overcome adversity whenever it's thrown at them.
It's unbelievable.
Consistent. And that's why I'm like, you
Can't just
cannot
count
throw them out.
Yeah.
When you got a guy like Ramos who,
Love that man.
Bogey, I love you. Ramos won them 2 Champions League titles.
Absolutely.
Ronaldo did not.
100%.
Absolutely.
You bang in a penalty when
Ryan
it's 3-1
Butchart.
up. Ronaldo,
100%.
you didn't win them that game.
Ryan Butchart, you're the man.
Sergio Ramos.
He shouldn't have
hit-
been allowed to play
Sergio
in one of them.
Ramos.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, you're right. You're
We
right.
could argue that all
But
day. we're gonna
Sergio
keep going.
Ramos is the true like linchpin. When he doesn't play, Varane looks so suspect.
Yeah, what? Who would have thought?
And it's just, dude,
Which
it's
is
the
why
presence, man.
who would have thought?
Yeah, it's
I
the
rated
presence.
Varane so high.
Everyone did.
Modric
Sergio
looks like
Ramos.
he's 25 again this year. He's been unbelievable.
And Benzema, I think.
Benzema's so underrated.
Oh my
He's
goodness.
All right.
He's up there.
Stop. Timeout. Everyone saw what's his face, Zidane, my guy, whatever, say that Benzema is the best forward in France's history.
Benzema's first name isn't Thierry.
I said Thierry
Henry.
said that Benzema is the greatest forward in France's
Zidane
history.
said that.
Zidane said
Zidane said that.
Oh yeah,
Zidane said that, yeah.
about Benzema. Yeah,
Thierry Henry.
I just keep saying
Thierry
Thierry Henry because
Thierry
that's
Henry's-
the best forward
Okay,
in France's
let's
history.
break this down. Let's break this down.
Thierry Henry didn't play football. Or
from a
excuse me,
skill
baseball.
point.
He played soccer. He's the best player.
Yeah, from a skill point, 100% Thierry. There's no doubt. You can't even think twice.
I like where you're going with this.
I want to break down the impact of titles.
Yeah.
Benzema's won 4 Champions Leagues.
He plays at Real Madrid
Okay, Thierry Henry played at Barcelona.
for 3 years.
Okay.
And he played it on the Invincibles at Arsenal.
How
And he won a Champions League.
They never won the Champions League.
Barcelona, you won a Champions
No,
League.
no,
with
no.
Barcelona?
Arsenal never won the Champions League.
Yeah, Arsenal didn't, but he won a Champions League with
He
Barcelona.
won 1.
So I'm saying if you got to take into consideration if Real Madrid goes to the Champions League 10 times out of 20 years, they go to the Champions League final, and Thierry Henry's team's never been to the Champions League final, and then he goes to Barcelona and he's there for 3 years and wins it once. You kind of got to like, if you really want to do like what's it called when you cross multiply fractions to get the, I mean, you got to compare his opportunity to what was
Science.
there.
Opportunities were there, but I'm just saying, like, Karim Benzema has a huge trophy case, and he's played a big role in all of it.
You know how you said you don't like stats that much?
I'm not talking stats.
You know what I don't like? Trophies. I don't like trophies one bit.
Okay, but at the end of the day, when you retire,
Only thing you
if
remember.
you play for Real Madrid, Benzema's been there for what, probably 12. I'm guessing 12 years. When he signed for Real Madrid, do you think that he just did? Oh, if I don't win a Champions League, okay.
No, if you sign for Real Madrid, yeah, you're gonna have the opportunity to win Champions League.
I also think it's
so if you lose them, if you go to the title and you lose them, then that like you could say one thing. He's gonna be there. I'm saying. Let me think of a good counter.
The fact that Thierry did it both internationally and for club, I think definitely like Thierry Henry won a World Cup.
But see, that's not Benzema's
I think
fault.
the fact that you go
It directly is Benzema's fault.
what is
we could go down a dark path with that.
what is
with
more
that whole
what is more
situation.
impressive to you? All three of you answer this. Winning a Champions League, winning 3 Champions Leagues for Real Madrid as their starting striker. 4, winning 4 Champions Leagues for Real Madrid, or taking a Premier League team to an invincible season.
4 Champions Leagues.
4 Champions Leagues.
Dang.
I mean,
because if you play for Real
they get-
Madrid, Danny Carvajal's got 4 Champions Leagues.
because
And he's an unbelievable player. He's one of their most important players.
the thing for
He's
me
a
is
good player. Is he the best right back of all time?
No,
The
but
best
he,
Spanish right back of all time. Thierry Henry, if he played for Barcelona, would shit on Benzema's stats. Bad, in my opinion. But the fact that you can't compare their trophies and their stats because he never had the opportunities. So like when you say he's the best French player of all time and Benzema is not like playing for France, I don't like that. To me, then takes it down to their ability as a player side by side, and their ability as a player side by side is. I think it's very close for me. It's very close.
I
Let's
was
say that.
agreeing that Thierry, I think
Right.
we all agree Thierry's the best. I think Zidane got it wrong, but I'm just saying we should at least give Benzema credit, and that's why I waned to break down trophies because of
he
what he's
des-
done for the game.
Deserves his credit for sure.
we're not. By no means do I mean it to sound like I'm bad mouthing Benzema at all. Like, dude's brilliant.
Yeah.
He's just not Thierry Henry in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Thierry Henry's
Yeah.
the best. I agree 100%. I just wanted to give Benzema some love because I absolutely think he's brilliant.
I also think it's crazy.
Top 3 France striker of all time.
yeah. Behind-
Another crazy stat that I think was kind of just brushed over is Benzema's played for Real Madrid for 12 years.
Yeah. Real doesn't hold on. to
Real Madrid
attacking
doesn't hold
players
on
like that.
Look at Luis Suarez. He played 6 years at Barca. You look at, I looked it up. Played 6 years at Barca. Thierry Henry
No,
played
it's a
3 at
different
Barca.
Well,
Karim
it's 'cause he
Benzema
chose
has
to
been
play
at
for Arsenal and Marseille.
This isn't a Thierry Henry versus
True.
this. Well, for me, what do you think is more difficult, Invincibles or 3 Champions Leagues in a row? I don't. That's just like a.
It depends who you play for. It's like if I play for Real Madrid, winning 3 Champions Leagues is nowhere near as impressive for me as being an invincible and through the Premier League, England's top flight, not losing a game. To me,
I'm with
guess
you.
why?
I'm
Because
with
it's
you.
never been done.
I'm
The
with
Champions
you.
League, that's only been done.
3 in a row's never been done.
Yeah, it's never done.
Well, 3 in a row's never been done, but like, it's only been around for.
I just think the fact that's why it's such a tough argument because it's so hard to do.
I was gonna say I was trying to think of 4
Holy
just in
cow,
total.
yeah.
And it's like AC Milan.
It's so
and-
hard to do because just think about like the last minute goals that Madrid have scored to win these. It's not like
It's Ramos and it's Ronaldo.
it's
and
Ronaldo. It's Ronaldo.
They have all
It's
these other
just-
players to help them win these titles. That's my thing about titles. It's a team. You win the title as a team. You're a player based on your play. That's not even like a soccer thing. I know you're not. You're still saying Thierry's better, but that's a personal thing for me. The titles thing just goes way back. I think people weigh too much on it, specifically in American sports.
Just a crazy stat that I wanted to tell you guys. You guys probably already know this, but I did not know this. During that invincible year, Thierry Henry had 30 goals.
How many assists did he have?
30 freaking goals.
Look up how many assists he had.
Not as many that year, I don't think.
Why does it only? I'll look.
I mean,
it up.
that's
30
He
goals.
was the guy. He was their guy.
That's
sure.
wild.
That Barcelona question I wanted to ask you was, how much time do we have?
We got a little bit.
We got. I want to talk about the FIFA Pro put out their 11. Frankie De Jong was in it. Make sense to you?
No.
I mean,
No.
yeah. Make sure, but
Yeah,
you
I
would
wasn't
know.
thinking the same thing.
I remember
That's
when we did our
hilarious.
first podcast, we did the run through. We all named our World 11s. Remember that?
Yeah,
And
you had.
I had Frankie in, and this was before the season started.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm guessing he's no longer in your 11.
no, he's not.
So how did they put him in theirs? Isn't that insane?
Frankie De Jong is a unbelievable talent. Like, I'm talking, you don't see midfielders have his skill set. He's a generational midfielder, 100%. But Barcelona is in shambles. Absolute shambles. He doesn't deserve that. It should be Thiago, who I think was in it. De Bruyne was in it.
Yep, those are the two.
Those are two.
Where's Kimmich?
I love
Definitely
Kimmich.
beat it.
Where's
I
Kimmich?
love Kimmich.
That guy, he deserves it. That guy just won a treble, and he was so good. He's putting in 8 to 9 out of 10 performances every time he steps on the
Yeah,
pitch.
And he's playing wing back.
Frankie's
and
not
center
right
mid.
now. Yeah. Throw him at wing back, 8.5.
Yeah.
Throw him at left back, 8.5.
Yeah, he's a beast.
You throw Frankie in the team right now in Barcelona, he's not giving you 8s. He's going to give you an 8 every few games. He's going to give you a 5, a 6.
Yeah.
Because the team is just not
I
good.
want to get your guys. This is kind of a different topic, but Klopp won the Manager of the Year. I want to know. Hans Dieter Flick, the manager of Bayern Munich, won 5 trophies this past year. Everything that you can win, he won, and Klopp won Manager of the Year.
Wild.
Oh, is it a?
It's an
Oh,
award.
Oh,
FIFA
I
Coach of the
thought
Year.
it was a prim.
No,
thing.
it's a FIFA award. Flick won every trophy you can win. He won, and Klopp was the Manager of the Year.
And Flick took over halfway through when the team was
That's
not
probably
working.
That's probably why. Probably wasn't eligible.
Well, that's more impressive to me.
Oh, it's
just
definitely more
It just
impressive,
means
but
he
he's
wasn't
saying-
eligible.
I'm not hating on Klopp. I'm just thinking that's like that's 5
That's
trophies.
pretty wild. Now we're speaking about managers. Can we? I want to get into the one topic I wanted to bring to the table.
Go for it.
Mikel Arteta.
Let's go.
Oh. R.I.P. JP and Kurt. We're about to roast your
And-
R.I.P. Sulky boy.
And this is another one where
Sam Brown.
I'll have to eat my words because I truly thought he was going to be the guy.
Yep. You
I
said.
truly did.
Why did you think so?
I
So
just
I'm gonna read a text that I typed.
I
that I typed out.
I think a lot to do with it was his influence and looking at it now, I realized that his influence wasn't as big as I thought, but I thought he had a bigger influence on that City team.
Pep was doing him a favor by saying he influenced
You're
the
correct.
team.
You are correct. And I realize that now. And I think another thing was I watched that City documentary on Amazon, and I really everything that Arteta said in that documentary I thought was true. Like, he was saying really good things. His what he was saying to Pep and their conversations, I was
he's
very
got
impressed.
Clearly he has a good football brain. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? He's going to be able to say that. I feel like it's so much easier to be in that role under Pep.
I
and
was just
say
about
the
to
right
say.
things
I was just about to say.
than to be the
with
manager of a
and
team.
with that City
Yeah.
team, there's really no going wrong.
I'm just not so sure that he has the football brain.
You don't think?
Really.
I mean, he fought for minutes at Arsenal at the easiest position that they had, holding mid on a dominant possession team.
I mean, I've been Arteta's not the guy this entire time.
I know. I'm
Yeah.
not arguing with anyone. I as a player, he underwhelmed every single place that he went. He got what's it called? When you get he got caps for like pat on the back caps, like international friendlies for Spain. Like he's played like probably like 10, I bet.
Friendlies.
There's all for nothing. They're all like, hey, like get in the Spain, like hang this flag up on your wall, like frame this jersey type stuff. He was never every time he had the ball and I looked at him as a player, I was like, you better do something simpler. This is getting turned over.
Yeah.
Doesn't rule you out.
Just to be fair, he towards the end of his career, he wasn't playing as much, but he had 3 years where he was putting in shifts for Arsenal.
He had 1 year over 30 games played.
31, 34, 29.
But
Oh, I was looking at Everton. Sorry.
put that into terms like, we could talk about his playing career, but
Yeah, correct.
you know what
sorry.
I mean? Like, it's one of those
And
things
I'm pretty
where-
sure he was captain.
No, they could be different. Yeah, he was captain for every once in a
we
while.
sit here and we talk about the Saints, like Premier League title chances. Like, I think there's just as much of a chance of Arsenal getting relegated as there is of Southampton winning the league.
Could you imagine?
It's one of those things to where when you look at Arsenal, it's like we talk about a Jordan Henderson who's the captain of Liverpool, but then you look at your captain of Arsenal, it's Aubameyang. Like,
He doesn't look like he wants to be out
he
there.
doesn't
At
look
all.
like he wants to be on the field. The goal he scored against who they just play, the Saints.
Yeah,
was-
Bakio Saka and Eddie Nketiah was some filthy play.
No, I was going to say Saka.
Filthy
Saka
play.
created that goal.
And Nketiah is nowhere to be slept on either. If he was on a team of players that actually felt like playing soccer, Nketiah would ball. Promise.
So I think it's just. I've
There's-
talked to Nate. I've talked to JP. It's like starts from the top, but even more, it's like Arteta and the players that are out there. They seem like they don't care.
Absolutely. There's absolutely zero leadership on that squad right now. And I think
leadership.
I think the biggest show of that is these red cards that they've been getting in these players, and
Pepe,
you haven't seen retaliation. No one stepped in and said that is unacceptable. You cannot do that. And these red cards aren't in the run of play. If you really think about it, Xhaka's choking the dude out.
No, Gabriel should have gotten a red card 15 minutes
100%.
into the Southampton game for that elbow to the face on Che Adams. There's one reason and one reason alone that he didn't. That's because Che Adams is one of the toughest mothers in
wasn't
the
gonna take it.
entire
Yeah, he
Premier
was-
League. So he literally just grabbed his jaw, rolled up, and got up. Any other player isn't even getting up. They're getting stretchered off the field.
I don't know. Where do you guys think Arsenal's going to finish this season?
I said it before with the whole Tottenham thing. I have no idea. Anyone can lose. Anyone can win.
To me, it's like, like the change that United had when Ole came in and they got that burst of we won a few games. I don't think Arsenal has the players to where even if they were to bring in a new manager to recover.
Yeah, I agree.
They need a big January.
And who wants to play for Arsenal right now? Who are they going to get in January?
Oh, I mean, they'll get players.
I hope. For their sake.
The reason I brought it up, there's one thing that just seems weird to me about the whole situation, and it's like it went from being Arteta ball and JP saying that they could still win the league and like all these things, and like Gabriel was
at Virgil van Dijk's level.
Was at Virgil van Dijk's level, and then there was a drop off for the rest of the Premier League center backs. They went from that to now I don't look at our Twitter feed because I'm sad at our team's performance, and it's so gloomy. I don't know about Mikel Arteta. It's just how in 2 weeks, when you haven't scored a goal in 8 games, why is it now? I guess, we talked about this earlier, like the why is it now and like what boils it over the edge for me. I guess maybe because I've been anti-Arteta from the beginning, but I was optimistic. Like we go back, I think he could do well. I just don't think he will. I want him to. I just don't think he will. But everyone disagreed. They were like, no, he's gonna ball. And that was up even when we watched them play. And I was like, they look terrible.
For me, it was the Pep influence, I think, that I had.
But I'm saying why I get why people would have faith in him. Trust me. It was just because maybe an animosity I had as watching him as a player, and I didn't think he had it. But why as of 2 weeks ago instead of 2 months ago?
Yeah.
Because 2 months ago they looked terrible. A month ago looked terrible. 2 weeks ago they didn't score a goal for what was it, like literally 600 minutes.
Yeah.
It's got to be close to a record. This is Arsenal. We're talking about not Newcastle, not Burnley. Arsenal playing 7 games in a row without scoring a goal.
With Aubameyang.
No, 6, 7. Close to between 6 and 7 games.
They play Everton tomorrow. Like
another L.
Easily, they may not win another game.
We're talking about stable midfields. You had something?
All I'm gonna say about Arteta is lack of authority.
Not wrong.
Absolute lack of authority. Yeah. You think Pep Guardiola's letting that stuff fly? You think Jurgen Klopp's letting that stuff fly?
But he could also say, look, I got 9 guys on the bench and in my reserves that could come take your spot. Can Arteta?
Doesn't matter.
I don't think Arteta makes it to January.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all.
I
You're
don't
not
think he
wrong.
makes
Play the
January.
kids. You got a guy like Granit Xhaka choking a guy out in a game that you got to win.
Who do you play, Butch?
I'm playing a 17-year-old academy kid.
They need goals.
And I'm reaming
Hey,
Xhaka.
Arsenal
Reaming.
needs creativity in the middle, according to Emmy, their technical director.
All right.
Bring
Gotta
it
wrap
back.
it up a little bit. One hot take for everyone.
One hot take for everyone.
What do we got? My hot take. Last time it was Ziyech was going to win Player of the Year.
Just say Bruno's going to win Player of the Year.
No, it's Harry Kane. Harry Kane's going to win Player of the Year. I don't really think that's a hot take, but that's what I'm.
He's probably the favorite right now.
All right. Yeah.
I'll go. My hot take is I think that every single league, and I'm talking if you look at the Bundesliga, by the way, this is just a random stat. The Bundesliga from 8th to 1st is 10 points as well.
Wow.
So look it up, dude. There's like there's 4 teams on 18. There's 4 teams on 18 points. Bayern and Leverkusen are tied at 28. I think every single league in the world is going to be decided by less than 5 points.
Do you think
That would be so lit.
I think it's going to happen. Juve's
Yes.
in second right now.
Yes.
AC
I want
Milan's
them
at
to
top.
lose so
Inter's
bad.
there.
yes or no?
Juve?
Yes or no? I don't want to go into
Okay.
it. Do you think the coronavirus has a big play in that?
100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
No fans.
Yeah.
Not
All right.
just that. The year prior.
Yeah. And once again, I'm sorry I said I didn't want to dive into it. A lot of people have been giving Kai Havertz a lot of shit. I think because he had the coronavirus, I think he is not fully recovered from it. And I think it's a little bit of his first year in the Prem, new squad, all that stuff, learning a new language.
Pogba said he literally couldn't run after the coronavirus.
Yeah, so
But anyway,
I think it's interesting. All right.
My hot take is Juventus gets knocked off their perch. They do not win Serie A.
That'd be
Ooh.
awesome.
it's a good one.
Be awesome. Mine is if Arsenal don't sack Mikel Arteta, they finish below 15th this year in the
I
Prem.
don't think he makes it to January 1st.
You don't think he makes it to January 1st?
Between today and
Everton and who?
the
Chelsea
Prem,
on Boxing Day.
The Prem, it's Boxing Day. I think there's 5 games in 14 days for all those clubs. It's Prem, FA Cup, Prem, FA Cup. It's like Boxing Day. If Arsenal lose this weekend, he's on the hot seat. I mean, he's already on the hot seat, but if they lose to Everton
they
tomorrow,
talk about him like he's their Lord and Savior still. Everyone at that
shot.
club.
40 games in 17 days.
also, by the way, Zlatan leading Serie A. He's a top goal scorer.
That's wild.
Just saying.
All righty. That's a wrap, boys. Another episode of the Mecca of Banter.
Good
Yeah.
stuff, guys. Catch you.
Peace.
Cheers.